ever since that day in March 1871 when Scotland met England in the first ever Rugby Union International at Raeburn Place in Edinburgh, that particular fixture has had a very special savour, not only because of the David and Goliath aspect to it, but because for over 100 years those two countries have played for the only tangible trophy in the International Championship, the Calcutta Cup. And of course there was the great tradition that Scotland always met England on the third Saturday in March, and that meant that it was often the last international in the championship and therefore had a kind of day of decision about it. England of course have done better with 53 wins to Scotland's 39, and there was a spell when England went 13 matches against Scotland without defeat. That was between 1951 and 1963. And of course Scotland's record at Twickenham would make you great, 4 wins only in 35 visits. But there have been some notable Scottish triumphs, and I think one of the most memorable was at Twickenham in 1971. Scotland were actually seeking to avoid a whitewash. Now the same had been so a year earlier in 1970, and the Scots had avoided the whitewash, that's losing all 4 matches in the championship, when they beat England at Murrayfield by 14 points to 5. But in 1971, the Scots were seeking to avoid a whitewash, but this time against England at Twickenham, where Scotland hadn't won for 33 years.
Patterson out to Turner, running round Page. That's hoisted high in front of the English post. Bob Hiller waits, so does Janyan. Janyan did a wonderful bit of cover there. That was a great piece of work by this big English wing. Patterson tackles him, out to Cowman. Cowman inside, almost over halfway, gives it to Bob Taylor. This is a chance for England. Wardlow out to Spencer. Spencer has got Hiller outside him. This is Hiller. Hiller's going to score. It again, but it was Janyan who did it, wasn't it? You see the handoff of McHarg first, then this beautiful dummy. This is, I think, what he's learned at Bedford. Then the wonderful support work and the cut inside by Cowman. That great one-handed take by Bob Taylor, and the complete overlap. You see it was about 3-1. Spencer timing his pass beautifully, bringing the man onto him. And Little Brown, the Scottish fullback, had no chance. Dick Cowman drops out. McLaughlin. Offside. One of the English forwards in front of the kicker. And no option there. It's a scrummage at the middle. Patterson, not a good heel for him. Chris Ray trying to run outside Spencer. Bigger comes inside. Bigger handing off Taylor. This is McEwen. The full pass may have been forward. It's a try for Peter Brown. It must have been straight. The man who scored the try. Here he goes. He didn't turn completely round that time. Peter Brown. Bigger throws. McHarg got up. A bit of elbowing there at the line out, and it's a penalty to England. It's again a kick of, I'd say, 50 yards. Laughter and Horton against Gordon Brown and McHarg. Horton missed it, McHarg didn't, but it was a nasty one for Patterson. Scotland penalised for coming within the 10 yards area before the line out was over. Hiller then, it's big, it's straight, and it's good. Stephen Turk again, so that Langham, the Langham club, are providing both the Scottish wings at the moment. Patterson, Turner again on this short burst. He runs past Neary, trying to feed it to Arneil. Patterson again, trying the drop goal. Dunlop made a good strike there, but Jacko Page as the ball comes back badly. Now this is Janyan, he's over the 25, he's tackled by Patterson, gives it inside to Neary, Neary for England. Steele, it's fed out from Turner, this is Ray. Ray almost over the 25, dips his shoulder into the tackle. The Scots forwards won it, Patterson. Steele knocked it forward. There's a chance for Patterson. The referee's given a try. It was a fascinating try. Patterson here put the kick in. Now let's see if Billy Steele knocked it on. The Englishman was there as well. You see how Patterson never stopped following up. And that was little Cowman, I think, in trouble. Dick Cowman could be very happy with his first international nonetheless. Scotland have reduced their line out again. Arneil palms Patterson to McLaughlin. McLaughlin driving over the 25, but he was unlucky. He fell the wrong way. The ball was on the English side. Scotland, however, have won it. That was the best one of the lot. This is Patterson, gives it to Peter Brown. There's a chance for Scotland. Chris Ray, tackled by Spencer, but he's got there. 15 points to 14. 15-14, what a score to have in a match between England and Scotland, I ask you. And Peter Brown, who kicked a penalty goal from this position 2 years ago. And he's done it again.
A red letter day for Scottish rugby indeed, their first win at Twickenham, that in 1971, since Wilson Shaw scored 2 tries there in 1938. You may have noticed the Scottish captain, Peter Brown, motioning somebody away there. Well, it was his brother Gordon, actually, who wanted to impart a brotherly hug. But Peter was having none of it because Scotland weren't yet home and dry. Actually, Peter Brown had a very good record against England. Played 8, won 5, drawn 1. He had the unique distinction of leading Scotland to 3 consecutive victories over England, and in 5 matches he scored 37 points against them. Well, a week after that historic Scottish victory, Scotland met England again. This time it was at Murrayfield, and it was to celebrate the centenary of that very first match in 1871. Well, this was in sharp contrast to the week before, because Scotland scored their biggest ever win over England at that time, 26 points to 6, and what is more, they registered probably the fastest try ever seen in international rugby. Now, don't blink twice, otherwise you might miss it.
Bob Hiller takes it, gives it out to Janyan, and right away you get the flavour of this match as Spencer knocks on, and it's a try for John Frame. The fella taking the conversion is the little Gala fullback, Arthur Brown, who comes round the corner with the left foot. Taking it quite rightly for a kicker of his particular style from the right touchline. This is one of his favourite positions, isn't it? You remember at Twickenham he kicked a penalty in '69, and then the match-winning conversion last Saturday from a position very similar to this. He reckons when he turns his back it helps him to concentrate a bit more. Eases the tension. But this is 10-12 yards inside the Scottish 25. Stammer Smith waits. Out to Cowman. That's nicely. It's to Big Janyan, the wing from Wardlow, and that almost caught the Scottish defence by surprise. Cowman with a drop goal. Dick Cowman scores his first points for England and cuts the deficit to 8 points to 3 in Scotland's favour with just over 10 minutes of the first half gone. One against the head for Scotland. Patterson into the space. If Biggar gets a bounce, there could be a score. But again, it was Starmer-Smith. Patterson to Peter Brown. It's a try. See the English three-quarters right up on the goal line. Biggar throwing. And Biggar almost getting in at the corner. John Pullen, the English hooker, you'll notice, guarding that 5 yards area, with Jeremy Janyan just behind him in this crucial bit of defence for England. McHarg pams. Patterson gives it to Biggar. Arneil feeds it out to Ray. Ray with a little kick through. Now it's between Steele and Duckham. Steele and Duckham. Frame. The try for John Frame. But Billy Steele was the man who made it. Brown goes up with Bucknell. It's McHarg who tries to clear. Starmer-Smith feeds Cowman. This could be useful. Cowman has been running beautifully. This is Wardlow over the 25. A beautiful sidestep. Well tackled by McEwen. Penalty for offside at the ruck. And Bob Hiller, who I will say hasn't scored in the match so far, dying to get this penalty kick over and to get the game restarted. Bob Hiller then cuts the deficit to 10 points. Scotland 16, England 6. About 7 minutes of the match remaining. This is McEwen from the dropout, gives it to Gordon Brown. He knocks over Cotton, gives it to Peter Brown, almost up to the 25. McEwen feeding McLaughlin, the prop forward. Carmichael is almost there. It was a magnificent bit of work by the Scottish forwards. Now it's the backs, Patterson out to Steele, and Steele has scored. Arthur Brown then. McHarg pams. Patterson to Turner, to Frame, to Turner, out to Arthur Brown. This is Janyan on the English 10 yards line, hauled down by Biggar. Number 3 is Cotton. It was a bad pass to John Spencer. Back goes Starmer-Smith. This is Larter. Out to Wardlow. Tackled by Brown and by Arneil on the English 25. It's beautifully laid back for Patterson. There's a chance here. It's a 3-1. It must be a try for Chris Ray. Nobody can catch him. Although Starmer-Smith tried hard. And there he is, tries against Wales, against England at Twickenham, and now one against England at Murrayfield. Back to Arthur Brown with the conversion.
Four goals there for Arthur Brown, and you know the Gala fullback had an international record at that stage of played 2-1-2, and both of them were against England. 3 years later, when England came to Murrayfield in 1974, Scotland had a new fullback and goal kicker, a player who was to adorn the international stage for a whole decade, Andy Irvine. It was a remarkable match in that it was the first time since 1880 that the Calcutta Cup match hadn't been the last in the championship. That was because of a new rotation of fixtures. And England hadn't won at Murrayfield for 6 years. Well, it was an absolute cracker. Watch for a thundering Andy Ripley charge that led to a fine try by Tony Neary. The lead changed hands 4 times in the last 20 minutes, and this was perhaps the most dramatic ending ever to a Calcutta Cup game.
Right at the front of the line out for England, number 2 there in the 5 yards area, John Pullen, who today is playing his 33rd international, captain of England for the 9th time.
Lawson, Colin Telfer, McGeechan took it magnificently. That's on halfway. Watson was half held, and it's a penalty for obstruction of Watson.
You'll notice the kicker or the captain has to signify to the referee that they are going to take a shot at goal, because once they've done that, they cannot then change the type of kick. They couldn't then, for instance, take a quick tapped penalty. Shorter one for Andy Irvine this time, about 46, 47 yards. Prolific scorer, this young man, over the seasons for Heriots FB, just 22 still. He's got 8 caps so far. And that's the shot from the terracing behind the goalposts.
Irvine, is it straight enough? Yes, it is.
Six minutes of the first half over. Scotland elated, leading 3 points to 0. Still the English 25 then. Number 7 for Scotland, Wilson Lauder. Number 8, Bill Watson of Boroughmuir. Number 6, McEwen. Tony Neary at the back for England. That was Ripley palming. Neary goes in. Webster in trouble. Madsen, it's a try for Lauder. Irvine away out there on the touchline. Irvine, a little stab. Scotland ahead by 9 points to 0. With about 12 and a half minutes of the match gone. Andy Irvine, 8 successful goal kicks in 8 internationals. The referee may have to have a word with them about dangerous play, because both packs of forwards aren't holding back at all. Scottish 25. England successfully turning the Scottish scrum. Lawson did well to get it away. Telfer into touch. Very fast bit of hounding of Colin Telfer here by Tony Neary there. Throw by Squires, taken by Neary. Down goes Ralston. John Webster, out to Squires. Peter Squire, Andy Ripley. Ripley tackled by Irvine. It could be a try for Neary. It is for Fran Cotton. Frank Cotton scores England's first try of the match. Peter Rosborough with the conversion. Rosborough perhaps put off a bit by that silly whistling and jeering about which the Scottish Rugby Union put a note in their programmes. But nonetheless, that must have heartened England considerably. 9 points to 4, Scotland lead. 26 minutes of the first half over. Lawson to Telfer. That's across the forwards meant for Lewis Dick. Dick tackles Squires, gives it to Dixon. Penalty for offside against Lewis Dick, I think. The option of the penalty or the scrummage. England ask for the penalty, and Alan Old is going to have the shot at goal. About 40 to 45 yards to the posts. Looks an almighty distance from that angle, doesn't it? Alan Old, who has an English record of 24 points in one match, an England's tour of South Africa. Alan Old, high and far, and good. Only 2 points between the sides now then. Scotland ahead, 9 points to 7. England are going to try one of the funny ones. Tapped penalty. John Pullen is the key man. Webster to Pullen, but it didn't go to him. This is Tony Neary to Andy Ripley. Oh, what a move! Ripley, can he get there? Ripley gives it out to Neary. It's going to be another try for Tony Neary. Ringing the changes in the line-out, ringing the changes in their back division repertoire. Duckham throws, McHarg wins it, back to Lawson. Peter Rosborough. Rosborough. Alan Lawson gives it to Madsen. Madsen over the 25, and the man himself, Tony Neary, back there to save for England. What a remarkable forward this Broughton Park flanker is. Neary playing in his 19th international in a row. But Scotland 15 yards out. Neary again. Scott's holding it in. It could have been a penalty in there. McLaughlin, Lawson to Telfer. Telfer switching out to McEwen. McEwen to Irvin. Irvin, can he get to the line? Irvin, can he score? And Irvin with a penalty, a conversion and a try to his credit in this match. This really speaks so highly of squad training and of the superb fitness that those fellows have nowadays. Webster waiting. Ripley, again tackled by Lauder. Colin Telfer kicks on. Rosborough with the drop goal. Is it there? Yes, it is. (14-13) for England. Again, England manufacturing beautiful possession. Stack Stevens rolling round them all. Webster out to Alan Old. That's still in play. Andy Irvin. He knows he's got to run it. Drew Gill. That's going to land near the English 25. Ralston was in there. David Duckham. But it could be a penalty to Scotland for offside, the ball having been played by an Englishman behind David Duckham. And what is Ian McLaughlin going to ask this side to do? Well, you can see Andy Irvin with what could well be Scotland's last chance. This is a kick of fully 40-45 yards. It's really from the wrong side for Andy Irvin. We're 3 minutes into injury time. This kick could win the match. Irvin then, big, high, long, and straight. The referee's whistle has gone for the end, and Scotland have won the most dramatic victory. And look at those scenes of jubilation here at Murrayfield. Scotland through with the very last kick of the match. 16 points to 14.
Well, that was undoubtedly one of the great pressure goal kicks of all time by one of the all-time greats of international rugby, Andy Irvine. He was still at full-back when England came north again in 1976. At this time to play before an all-ticket crowd, 70,000, because in the previous year, 1975, Scotland had played against Wales at Murrayfield before a record crowd of 104,000, a world record that was. Well, now England brought up a huge pack this time. The front row comprised Fran Cotton, Peter Wheeler and Mike Burton. And Bill Beaumont was joined in the middle row by Bob Wilkinson, and Mark Keyworth made up the back row with Andy Ripley and Tony Neary. What a pack. But Scotland managed to draw level twice, and then they seemed to find an extra gear just when they needed it.
All set then for the start to this match for the Calcutta Cup. Alan Old starting the game for England. Immediately that long one down to Billy Steele. And immediately England gain that little advantage of a very useful kick-off, forcing the Scots to drop out. Drop out by Ron Wilson, and that's a good start for him. Wilkinson underneath it, out to Lampkowski. Lampkowski harried by Lawson, out to Plummer. Plummer into the Scottish 25. It's a try for England. But they'll all have to come back because the Dutch judge's flag is up. You can see Ken Plummer with very little space. That there's the moment when his foot seemed to touch the line. And of course the line is in touch. Colin Fisher to throw for the Scots. It's one of the aspects of his game that is of such a high standard, his accurate throwing. McCard, Lawson, that went past Wilson. McGeechan in trouble in the 25. It was kicked on there by Ripley. Wheeler is there as well. That's a great drive by the English forward. This is Wilkinson. What a chance for England. Maxwell, trying to miss out his man. It goes to Plummer. Plummer's only 15 metres out. Well tackled there by Shedden. Again to Lampkowski. Along there to Cook. Cook, it must be a try for Maxwell. And it is. It was the winning of this ruck here. In fact, it was a maul situation. Keyworth, then Lampkowski, the bad pass. But you see how, because it was long, it gave Cook a lot of room. And Cook very craftily changing pace there and sidestepping. And a clear try. David Duckham would have scored if Maxwell hadn't. Alan Lawson just short with a tackle. Alan Old with the conversion attempt. It's a beauty. Well, England couldn't have hoped for a more encouraging start than that. 6 points ahead, about 7 minutes of the first half over, and Andy Irvine restarts. In goes Beaumont. Nicely out to Lawson. Finds Wilson again. This is Cranston. Just about on the England 10 yards line. And a penalty there for going over the top. Irvine, who has kicked 60 points in major internationals for the Scots and got 12 against England 2 years ago. Irvine, the little stab, it's straight. Yes, that's brought one or two smiles to one or two faces in this 70,000 crowd, I must say. 6 points to 3, 9 minutes over. And that is the unhappy sight of David Duckham going off. And the replacement here is Derek Wyatt, and that'll give great pleasure around the Bedford area. Derek Wyatt getting his first cap for England in place of David Duckham, and in his position he's well accustomed to, the left wing. Referee seemed again to be waiting for an advantage. Lampkowski, a chance here, and that was Billy Steele, and it could be a penalty for a deliberate knock forward. Alan Old, a young man who's done some remarkable scoring for England over the last few seasons. Scored a record 37 points in one Lions match against Southwest Districts and kicked 6 goals against Ireland 2 years ago. Bold, straight and true. England 9, Scotland 3. About 18 minutes of the first half over. Alan Lawson in bother from Lampkowski. In comes Shedden. Fed out from Neary. Along the line there, right along to Maxwell. This is Wyatt. Wyatt over the 25. But that's hooked backwards. That was Steele. Then up comes Shedden. Shedden out to Bigger. They're in the clear over halfway. Alec Carmichael there. Carmichael out to Tomes. Tomes out to Lawson. Lawson must score for Scotland. What a try. And it all started from a way back here. And with a young man on the wrong wing, this is Shedden. Remember, he's the left wing. Here he was on the right. Bigger up in support. Over halfway, then Sandy Carmichael. Now Alan Tomes, the new cap, had a part in it here. There he is, and Lawson coming surging up. Got the score. What a try, and Andy Evan has just put the finishing touches to it with the conversion attempt. And what a pity here for David Shedden. Now this is a scrummage in which England could make their weight and their numerical superiority tell, and they have. Ripley picks up. That's Old. Back inside there to Keyworth. Keyworth caught by Bigger. Another good ruck ball as Lampkowski changes his mind. Well, he shouldn't be allowed to get away with that, but he did. That was Peter Wheeler within 8 metres. And it's a penalty against the Scots for preventing fair ruck clearance. But Alan Old gives the perfect answer, and that is by putting the ball dead between the sticks. And England are ahead once again. Alan Old with 8 points in this match, and England ahead 12 points to 9. And I make it that we're into injury time at the interval. Jim Rennick comes on. Jim Rennick joining his Hoyt clubmate Alistair Cranston for his 18th cap. Inside Scottish territory. Wheeler throws a great catch by Tomes. Lawson to Wilson. Wilson, that's a huge up and under. Plummer is underneath it, but it's swung back to Lawson. Lawson caught there by Bowman. Ian McLaughlin picked it up in front of his own man. And the penalty goes to England. Alan Old. This would be a monumental kick, but this lad really can thump them. 6 goals against Ireland in 74. Alan Old. It's long, and it's just dropping short. Ian McGeechan touches down. The referee's whistle goes for half-time. And I'm pretty sure those 30 players out there will be glad indeed to hear that whistle, because that has been a pulsating half. And the situation is simply, after all that excitement, England ahead by those 3 points. And sure, a lot more drama to come in the second half. The start of the second half. Andy Irvine puts the ball out of play. And this will be another little problem for England, because they've used their three-quarter replacement, Derek Wyatt. Andy Maxwell, who scored that brilliant opening try. Scotland going for a peel, and they've made it. Nicely out to Sandy Carmichael. Lawson finds Wilson. Wilson inside there to Rennick. Rennick slices it. Scots forwards in the right place, however. That was Leslie. That's the England 10 metres line. Alan Lawson with the tackle again, but this is Mike Burton rolling off the maul. That's Old, out to Lampkowski, a good tackle by Wilson. The pick up there by Wilkinson, out to Plummer. Plummer runs past McHarg, gives it to Hignell. Hignell up towards the 25. Hignell inside to Plummer. What a tackle there by Billy Steele. England did that with 14 players. And the 15th is just about to come on. Neil Bennett, number 17. And there are fellas playing out of position all over the place. Neil Bennett with 3 caps as an England standoff. But here playing at right centre. Fisher throws, but it's gathered in by Neary. And it's a penalty, I think, for going offside at the tail. Well, this is an important kick for Andy Irvine. That's the distance of the kick. Irvine then, can he steer this one straight? Yes, he can. Well, there was plenty of joy around the terracing already, but that really has lifted it even further. 12 points all, about 13 and a half, 14 minutes of the second half gone. And it's the survival of the fittest now. And Colin Fisher really is under a bit of pressure in that scrummage because he is having to dip so low and he's having to throw his leg out so far in trying to take one against the head. Scotland got the turn on, the pick-up by Ripley, caught again by Biggar. McCargan is there as well. Now it's Lankowski, a great tackle by Leslie, pick-up by Neary, Burton, Alan Old. Oh, the charge down by Leslie. Leslie, could he score? It's a try. With about 17 minutes of the match remaining. It's Colin Fisher of Waterloo and Lancashire. Lawson got it away well to Wilson. That's another huge kick. Up comes Cranston, and Cranston thumps into Ken Plummer. Back goes Alan Old, Fisher kicks on. England in trouble as Keyworth falls in it. That's Ian McLaughlin. McLaughlin giving it to McHard. Great English cover and tackling. Mike Biggar looking for it. Lawson, out to Wilson, out to McGeechan. They've missed out everybody, it goes to Steele. Steele, still clear, gives it out to Irvine. Irvine over the 25. Andy Irvine to Ron Wilson. And again the white shirts are there. That is marvellous defence. They come again from Lawson. All the way out there to David Leslie. Leslie to Jim Rennick. Alan Lawson again, his second try. What a day he's had. It all started from here with the pass. And then this tremendous run by Ron Wilson. David Leslie had stood off. He gave it out to Jim Rennick. And Rennick missing out Wilson. And by a bit of luck found Lawson. Andy Irvine, whilst that replay was going on, Andy Irvine gets the conversion over. His 4th successful kick of the match. And Scotland are 10 points in the clear, leading 22 points to 12. Fisher using the tail, but it's Neary caught by McHard. Good mauling by the English forwards. Cotton out to Old. This is Ken Plummer. Plummer coming up to Jim Rennick. A good smother tackle. The pick up there by Lawson. Lawson. Referee Denzel Lloyd has a look at his watch as Alan Lawson, who's covered miles and miles, almost gets clear. The referee blows for the end of the game. One of the most exciting internationals we've seen at Murrayfield, and living up to the reputation of all those great Calcutta Cup matches that have been played here since 1925 when the ground opened.
A Scottish win then by 22-12 and their 11th victory out of their last 12 matches at Murrayfield. They really were ill to bait in their own backyard in those days. Incidentally, if you thought I got a wee bit overexcited when Alan Lawson scored his 2 tries against England in that match, I have a reasonably good excuse in that he's our much-loved son-in-law. When England came to Murrayfield in 1986, they did so having beaten Wales by 21-18, all 21 points by Rob Andrew, whereas the Scots had lost to Wales by 22-15 at Cardiff. Well, it was a startling match in that Scotland scored 3 tries to none, Gavin Hastings kicked just about every goal in sight, and the Scots recorded what is still their biggest ever victory over the old enemy.
And you'll recognise the dapper figure of Bob Francis, who had charge of Wales versus Scotland a fortnight ago, a 43-year-old from New Zealand, this his 6th major international assignment. So we're all set to go. Scotland may have won the toss and decided to play against the breeze, and it's Rob Andrew who gets the game started. In the conventional way, hoofing it right over the dead ball line, always gaining a territorial advantage, that kind of kick. And the first feel of the ball for John Rutherford. It's a good kick, it's very high, and immediately the Scots charging in, and a penalty for playing a man who didn't have the ball. Big Wade Dooley already. Bit of an argument there with John Beattie and Wade Dooley, but the upshot is that penalty.
But as you can see here, that it's certainly John Beattie there. He makes no attempt to go for the ball at all, and he bundles Wade Dooley well out of the field of play.
Rob Andrew then with 71 points in 6 internationals so far. Bit of ill-mannered whistling there. And Andrew kicks high and long, but he pushes it wide. And Gavin Hastings makes a touchdown. And immediately Rutherford takes a fast one. Robbins couldn't hold it. That might be offside, yes. An offside decision against Wade Dooley there. His own player behind him playing the ball. And I tell you, this game has started with a lot of nastiness, and referee Bob Francis will want to sort this out. Big Wade Dooley, the Blackpool policeman, getting the ticking off here. So Bob Francis won't be unaccustomed to this kind of hard play in New Zealand. Rutherford, safe and sure. So we can say that we've got off to a rather physical start in this 102nd, and Bill Bowman here is laughing his head off.
I think that is the understatement of the year, Bill, a physical start. The Wade, it'll be interesting in this line-out just to have a look at the England formation with their huge height advantage over the Scots.
Coleclough got hands to it. John Hall held a man back. And I tell you, this is going to be rough and unceremonious. The Scots forwards obviously realising that they've got to get in amongst those big fellows and disrupt their normal rhythm and normal drills. Colin Deans. Ian Milne working hard here on Paul Rendell, those two. And a penalty to the Scots, I think, against the collapsed scrummage. So a very dramatic moment for this lad, 24-year-old, the second of the 4 Hastings brothers in line. Hastings then, he stroked it well, straight down the funnel. You can see the little jump in his step and the great waving of flags here as Scotland take the lead. Goldclough, Melville, Andrew. Salmon half through, got it away well. Halliday. Davis was in the line. The pick up by Winterbottom. Beautifully inside there from Harrison. The tackle by Beattie. Oh, I tell you, you have to be as hard as nails out there. That is very physical and vigorous indeed. And already this little English left wing who's come in for Rory Underwood. Mike Harrison. They've got a good heel and a good steady scrummage. Melville with that very quick pass, misses his man all the same. Halliday's very strong, but what a tackle by Rutherford. Ian Milne knocked over. Pick up by Dooley. Good tackle there by Campbell, but a penalty. There's Wade Dooley, this huge man mountain, 6 feet 8 of him, almost 18 stones, big copper from Blackpool. Andrew then to tie the score. That looks better. Oh, it's a beauty. And there they're going backwards. Laidlaw, big kick out there to Gavin Hastings. Hastings is big and strong. Nicely out there to Finlay Calder. Bit loose there, but Calder's fed it out nicely. Gavin Hastings. The kick to the corner. Oh, what a kick. You can't thread them any more carefully than that. And what a result for the Scots. So the Scots with all kinds of options here, although it's England's throw. England will be very keen, I think, to catch one here and hold it. Steve Brain being meticulous with his throw. Great catch by Colclough. Brought down, mauled, and Melville clears. That was good copybook stuff.
Perfect defensive play there. Two-handed catch by Maurice Colclough. Everything was nice and tight, and it shows the advantage of Melville being able to kick off both left or right foot, able to slot the ball away to safety.
Long throw to Jeffrey. Taken by Paxton. On there to Laidlaw, out there to Duncan. Duncan beautifully tackled by Harrison. He'll be penalised. He forgot to release. And he's got a smack in the face in the process. Suggesting that he was punched. Good decision by the referee, though. You have to play the ball or release it. And of course the referee deciding there that the tackle had been made. In other words, that Duncan was held and brought down. Deans throws, Beattie takes, the drive by Campbell. Good line-out play by the Scots as well. But Roy Laidlaw's kick didn't go anywhere near where he wanted it to go, and Melville, what a pass off his left hand. This is Andrew. Davis in the line has kicked much too far. Gavin Hastings with all the time in the world driving Davis and Rob Andrew back. That's their own goal line. Andrew may have touched it. He could have touched down and got the drop out, but he may have touched it and thought he'd better play safe and get it away. Yes, doing away with the line out altogether for John Jeffrey. Finlay Calder did well. Peter Winterbottom almost through. Pick up by Scott Hastings. Break by Laidlaw Rutherford. Duncan again. Duncan outside his man. Going for the corner. Duncan all the way. Harrison got back. With a great saving tackle by Harrison. Scott's driving on, but the Dutch judge's flag is up. So that was Matt Duncan at his very best.
Well, Duncan here, that he beats Harrison. It's a nice handoff here. Look at him there, super handoff. And he goes round him on the outside, and Harrison's a quick lad, so it shows how quick. But really, he should have given the ball to John Rutherford on the inside. There was only Hugh Davis to beat there. With Rutherford's pace, and certainly be given the ball, then it could well have been a try for Scotland. But I think he just got a little bit carried away, and having gone round Harrison once, but it shows how quick Harrison is because he managed to get back to re-tackling.
Scottish scrummage held pretty well. Laidlaw, Rutherford, Scott Hastings, Rutherford the chip through. A great run for it by Johnston. The referee was magnificently positioned, but the ball was knocked forward and it'll be a scrum just short of the line. A great bit of running by Bob Francis, the New Zealand referee. He anticipated that brilliantly. Was right on the spot. Scotland trying to turn them. Oh, great breakaway by Robbins. the big Coventry number 8, and that was Steve Brain. Used to play as a back at one time. Deans again doing away with the line out. Winterbottom couldn't quite hold it. It's a penalty, but a bit of obstruction. And a real chance for Scotland to take the lead. There's the shot from behind the terracing. Hastings all the way. Scotland leads 6-3. 28 minutes of the first half gone. And they're delighted on the terracing. Andrew restarts. In comes Paxton. Robbins too. Alex Brewster drives on. Winterbottom can't pick up. Calder does. And Calder charges. Up to halfway. Scottish forward mobility there. Laidlaw nicely out. Johnston away. Johnson back inside, taken by Gavin Hastings. Hastings back outside to Bear. Oh, what a tackle by Jamie Salmon. I think everybody thought that Roger Baird was going to score his first try in 23 internationals. The penalty has been given for the high tackle by Jamie Salmon.
And here is Roger Baird. He hasn't scored a try for Scotland. He's about 4 yards out. And Salmon, I think, can count himself. It was high round the next year. I think the referee was right there. But I think someone would probably think he had to tackle him high. Otherwise, if he'd gone low, then the Roger Baird's momentum could well have taken him over.
Gavin Hastings. The flags are up again. 3 penalty goals for Gavin Hastings. And Scotland leading 9 points to 3. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Melville goes. A lovely little chip kick there. Simon Smith up on the tackle. The pick up and drive by Hall. John Hall of Bath, all 16 stones of him. So an important throw for Colin Thomas Deans. Keeping it short. Melville, but Finlay Calder did well. Down goes Paxton. And it's a penalty against the Scots. Not quite certain what that one was for. It seemed to be falling on the ball, but there was no player within an arm's length of the ball, and that's what the law says, as Rob Andrew prepares to try this penalty. Well, it's over, but it wasn't one of his best, but it counts, and he'll be very relieved, the young fella. Great bulk of Ian Milne, great bulwark in the Scottish pack on this side of the front row. Battling away against Paul Rendell. Those two haven't played against each other before, although they both play for London clubs. Penalty to Scotland. Was it for pulling down? So Scott Hastings, the younger at 21, watches brother Gavin as he tries to stretch Scotland's lead. It's a long effort. Gavin Hastings has got the distance. That is a magnificent kick. And Gavin Hastings kicks it dead. Yes, John Jeffrey went up just to investigate. I'll have a wee look here, he thought, in case it didn't go over the dead ball line. So Nigel Redman in the English pack. We'll see where he's going to play. Rob Andrew restarts. Paul Rendell took that in. Melville goes. Quicksilver. Good stuff there, and Redmond, number 21, in there already. Yeah, Simon Halliday going up that narrow side, supporting his captain. Nigel Melville, who's very quick over the short distance. John Hall has damaged a finger, and that's the reason that he's gone off, to be replaced by Nigel Redmond. Scottish 10 metres line. Great jump by Colclough. Melville, Andrew. Oh, Salmon has missed out his man. Hugh Davis. The kick on by Bear. David Johnston inside to Bear. Pass just behind him. Finlay Calder made a lot of ground there. That's him getting off number 7, and he gets a congratulatory pat from Colin Deans. Calder really got across in lateral support brilliantly there.
Well, it's a super pass, and Andrew's got all the time in the world, but just look here, Salmon, he was hoping to miss out Simon Smith and give the ball to Hugh Davis, but Hugh Davis actually cut in from the wing, and Scotland it just shows how dangerous they are in these broken field situations. Good backing up, and a bit unfortunate there that Roger Baird wasn't able to take the pass.
Dean's throwing over the top to Jeffrey. Beattie goes, Jeffrey again. Alistair Campbell's in there. So is Finlay Calder. Now it's Laidlaw. The switch to Rutherford. David Johnston back inside to Finlay Calder. Out there to Bear. Bear caught there by Hugh Davis. Drive on there by Laidlaw. Campbell in again. And that was magnificent Scottish play. Tremendous support work. Gavin Hastings in the line. Oh, the pass astray and a real chance of breakout here. Harrison kicks on. Across comes Johnston. A drive on there by Redmond. Caught there by Jeffrey. And by Calder. Well, there you are. One moment you're pressing on the opposition line. And the next moment, a loose pass. And they've cleared it. Laidlaw protected the ball well. Rutherford, that spiralling punt again. Oh, it's a searcher. Murrayfield simply erupts. And John Rutherford with one kick has sent the Scots almost 45-50 metres upfield. Looked like a good knockdown and hold by England, but the throw-in not straight. And Scotland scrummage, that's how close they are. Now the Scots will want to make this count. Pick up there by Beattie, caught by Redmond, gives it on to Finlay Calder. Beattie once more. Deans thumping on. Great play by the Scottish forward. Now it's Laidlaw. Rutherford held by Andrew that time. It's Laidlaw again. Out to Gavin Hastings. The chance for Matt Duncan. It's a try. Matt Duncan's second try in successive internationals. And what a score it was. Yes, it was the marvellous switch. Laidlaw delayed the pass beautifully, and then Gavin Hastings pulled his man onto him. What a pass that was. Duncan straight through. Certainly high enough. Oh, he can't miss. Scoreline that I don't think many people really expected. 18 points to 6. But Laidlaw goes once again. Gavin Hastings, a huge kick across the face of the English post. Simon Smith in trouble, but he gets it second time. Again, another tackle. Rutherford goes. And the pass intercepted by Winterbottom and by Halliday. And there by Simon Smith. The whole of Murrayfield is buzzing here at this tremendous performance by the Scots. Deans again using Beattie at the tail. Rutherford. Milne. The 17 or 18 stones of Milne rumbles on. Calder takes it. Deans holds it in. And there may have been a little bit of handling in that ruck when the ball went on the floor. It's a penalty to the Scots. If this went over as the English forwards watch, they have to stand motionless, of course, with their arms by their sides. Hastings, dead straight. He's done it again. So we've about 5 minutes of this Royal Bank of Scotland international to go, plus a bit of injury time. 21 points to 6 Scotland lead. They're midway between the Scottish 22 and halfway. And again, BT, very clever footwork. Rutherford. Roger Baird coming up the middle there. Graham Robbins dropped back to cover. The take by Rutherford, beautifully out to Laidlaw. Gavin Hastings. This is Matt Duncan. Duncan running at his man. He's past him, trying to go outside Hugh Davis. Good tackle by Davis, and he had that arm as well. But what a superb run by Matt Duncan. And Hugh Davis obviously can't go on with that shoulder. But what a brave effort by him. It really was a superb pass this from Scott Hastings. And Matt Duncan, well, he took off like a tornado. Whoops, past Mike Harrison. And see how Davis, number 15, very cleverly made him go to the touchline. Didn't let him come inside, and then committed himself to the tackle. That was courageous stuff. And the upshot is that the lad is having to come off the field, with Kevin Murphy there, who used to play standoff for Sale. And a great sympathetic ovation for the English fullback. So we'll see the replacement comes on. Scots have been penalised through too quickly. Now, are England going to run it? Yes. Rob Andrew. Harrison. Tackled there by Jeffrey, still outside England's 22. Lovely ball from Brain. Winterbottom caught. On goes Brain again. Robbins trying to loosen the ball. Winterbottom, big strong lad from Headingley. In there to Rendell. They've cleared it 15 or 20 metres. This is Colclough. The loose ball is Calder goal. Calder on. Well out there to Laidlaw. Laidlaw to Rutherford. Rutherford must score. That's the clincher. The Scots are simply thrilled. This is where it broke down. That was fatal for England. And Calder, as he's been all day, was near the ball. Once again, the breakaway support. John Beattie up. Now, notice how Laidlaw ducked people in, and then how Rutherford came off that left foot, and that brilliant acceleration did the trick. Well, as I said, he can't miss almost. And Stuart Barnes, meanwhile, has come onto the field to replace the injured Hugh Davis. And again, the England forwards driving as Brain goes. Little bit of a Strathspey step there by him. Colclough. Elbow to Winterbottom. On to Colclough. 18 stones on the hook. Baird picks up and he's gone. Baird is away. Great tackle there by Salmon. Taken on by Beattie. Calder driving on. A great Scottish breaker as Beattie goes. And Jeffrey running. Out to Scott Hastings, and Scott Hastings has scored. Magnificent try that was. And what a moment for the 21-year-old. The feet are tapping, the flags are in the air. And that was quite superb. The whole of Murrayfield is simply thrilled. It was the support work after Big Maurice Colclough lost possession. Baird had a superb run, lovely acceleration. It was a great bit of cover by Jamie Salmon, but Baird keeping the ball alive and Beattie feeding Calder. Now there was still an awful lot to do. John Beattie, number 8, what a game he's played today. Off he went again. Jeffrey was there. Rutherford took it, and then the little juggle by Scott Hastings, but that's not a knock-on if it doesn't hit the ground. Simply marvellous. And Gavin Hastings has put the conversion over. And Scotland have won an astounding victory. That is Scotland's biggest victory ever over England. And who would have believed it? 33 points to 6.
Of all the 109 matches between England and Scotland over the years, undoubtedly the one with the greatest media hype and probably with the greatest pressure and tension for all 30 players concerned was that at Murrayfield in 1990, because it was the first time in the history of rugby union that two home countries had met with everything at stake for each of them: the Calcutta Cup, the Triple Crown, the Championship and the Grand Slam. England were hot favourites. They had a great side. They'd beaten France in Paris by 26-7. They'd put Wales to the sword by 34-6. And in doing so, they'd played the most awesome total rugby. The game was described as the match of the century. And you know, Scotland somehow, in a match of pride and passion and pugnacity, they found special inspiration in the singing of Flower of Scotland just before kick-off, and also in the most meticulous tactical preparation.
And so we've got all kinds of supporters and all colours of supporters here today as we await the start of the 28th Royal Bath International. As Rob Andrew gets it going, Chris Gray makes the catch. And this crucial Calcutta Cup game is underway for the Grand Slam as Gavin Hastings, playing at stand-off half, as he so often does, clears it up to near halfway. The loose one, down goes Finlay Calder, feeding out there, taken by Lenine. Nicely out to Chalmers. Loud blast for offside, penalty to Scotland on halfway. And somebody may have made a stupid remark because it's brought the kick within distance of the goalposts. And David Bishop is telling Rob Andrew, I don't think, was the guilty person. Gavin Hastings holding the ball for Craig Chalmers. Chalmers then, it's certainly high enough. Is it straight enough? It's wide of the right-hand post. It was a well-struck kick, but just a little bit wide. And of course you have the feeling that you really need to put those over in a tense match like this. Psychological drive on there, taken from Armstrong to Calder. Calder drives in, and the Scots already taking the play to England. What a surge that was! Armstrong, but it's a penalty for being offside over the top.
Well, it's been a very impressive start by the Scots forwards because they've taken the game to England. There's been a lot of question marks about the mobility of the English front five especially, and this is the great strength of the Scotland side. They don't let you settle, they harass you all the time, and Finlay Calder and young Armstrong did that superbly well there.
Craig Chalmers then, away out there on the right. He's pulled it, there's a loud roar from the east stand. It wasn't his best kick of all time because it bobbled and weaved, but it's given Scotland a 3-0 lead. They've played about 4 minutes. Yes, Rob Andrew with the kick-off, and it was nudged forward, and Scotland have the put in. England, of course, with their two great Wasps prop forwards, Paul Rendell and Jeff Probyn. Scots picking up and driving. Chris Gray takes it on. Almost up to halfway. Armstrong, Gavin Hastings, that's a high ball. In comes Hodgkinson, but he's left it to Underwood. And Underwood tackled there by Lenine. Jeffries there as well. Les Peart's flag goes up, and it'll be a throw into the Scots. And they've made a tremendous start, Bill.
Very impressive start indeed. They've taken the game to England, and that's the only way that they're going to win it this afternoon, by driving at them. And certainly you see Derek White there pick the ball up quickly from the line out, and from the scrum, and he just managed to keep driving in English back.
And the Scots switching their line out. They had Damien Cronin, who's usually number 4, right at the tail there, and Finlay Calder up near the front. And so that's another area in which the Scots will try and switch positions to upset England's normal routine, not to let the English forwards settle to what has been so successful for them during this championship. England 22. Good strike by Mill. Armstrong, Chalmers, missed out everybody to Scott Hastings, on to Derek White. Danger was there. Danger half got by Andrew. Taken by Cronin. Cronin helped by Gray, just short of England's 22. Armstrong, Chalmers dummies half through. Chalmers onto Lenine. Lenine just losing possession. Great support by the Scots here, and they were a bit unlucky that Lenine just lost the ball, and Will Carling did the saving work for England. But no advantage had accrued, and so England get the boot in. And already a bit of niggle there up the side of that scrimmage.
Well, I think what had happened there, that the scrum had collapsed, and Jeff Probyn felt that David Soul had taken it down, and obviously took the law into his own hand, but no hesitation at all by the referee to give him a final warning.
Craig Chalmers then. Last little look. The flags are up again. And Craig Chalmers' second penalty goal brings him to 254 points. 6-0 Scotland lead, 10 minutes gone. And there you notice that Jeff Probyn has got a hold of Soul's elbow and trying to ease him down into an uncomfortable position. Teague holding it in for England on halfway. Teague picks and goes. Tackled by Calder. Hill. Lovely break. Carling is away. There's a marvellous overlap here. Out to Guscott. Guscott has dummied and is going, and Guscott has scored. That is a magnificent English try. Jeremy Guscott's 7th try for England in just 6 internationals, and it was a beauty. A mixture of forward drive and widespread. Just watch it. There was the drive by Teague. He laid the ball back beautifully. And then here, Hill, going to the right, gave Carling a lovely run. Carling desperately quick. Now watch how Guscott dummied Gavin Hastings and had the pace to get there out of Armstrong's tackle. It was a super try. There's Paul Vendel standing number 3, one of the great support players. Played for Slough for 5 seasons before joining Wasps. Scotland in trouble as Dooley goes charging through, all 6'8" of him. And the grandstand there absolutely riveted. Everybody is here. It's the Scottish goal line. Gavin Hastings, you'll notice, up in a very strong defensive position there. A pick up by Hill. Hill out to Halliday, into Skinner. But another tremendous tackle by Finlay Calder. Calder has put in several superb tackles for the Scots. Just watch it here. England got a very good shove on. They won a ricochet ball. Hill fed out to Halliday, who's a big laddie, and there was Skinner, and that was Calder's tackle. But England still within 3 metres. Chris Gray got hands to it. Cronin charges. The referee's whistle has gone. But it went forward, and England get the scrummage.
Also worrying from Scotland's point of view at this scrum that Derek White is off the field at the moment getting some treatment, so it's going to be 8 English forwards against the 7 Scots, so no doubt they'll be looking to go for a pushover.
Derek White's just coming back in again, but Richard Hill very cleverly got the ball in quickly. That's Teague. Hill going in as well, but the referee's whistle had gone. It's a penalty for offside, I think. And England have opted for the scrummage. Now there's an interesting development. They could have taken the penalty, but they've gone for the scrummage. They feel that their scrummage is getting stronger and gaining an advantage. And of course they've only 5 metres to go. Teague half drifted across, but he's been pulled over. I think the ball really was out of the scrummage there. Once Teague was on the floor, the scrummage, it seemed to me, was over, and therefore Scotland were entitled to play it. but it's still all kind of panic stations for the Scots. You notice here that Teague was unfortunate, but at that instance I would have said the scrimmage was over. And there Finlay Calder got up there, but the Scots have been penalised for pulling the scrimmage down. And the Scots are bringing all kind of changes in their set-piece play.
I think actually Scotland were pretty lucky there just to get away with a penalty, because I think on a couple of occasions it could well have been a penalty try, because they certainly collapsed the scrum when England were driving them back.
And so as Richard Hill gets ready to take this tap penalty, we think that the Scottish replacement is warming up. There's Hill giving, there's the cavalry charge. Bengal turns. They're trying to drive it over, but the Scots managed to stop that one. You remember the Scots had all kinds of trouble like this for a spell against the Welsh at Cardiff, but managed to hold out because they were against a lighter pack and a pack that wasn't tremendously powerful in scrummaging. But here, of course, they're against a heavier English pack, and so there are all kinds of problems for them. But they got a bit of a shove on there, and Craig Chalmers has pushed it clear. Up come Lenine and Scott Hastings and Calder. Hodgkinson hoists it. Gary Armstrong. Oh, and he just hardly got it away. It was played, caught by Moore on the 22. And of course the ball had been played, and so Scotland get the put in. Well, they've played 29 minutes of the match so far. Scotland leading 6 points to 4. Everything to play for, and Derek White is leaving the field. He did get a smack, you remember, when Finlay Calder went in on the tackle. And here is Derek Turnbull of Hoyt, who's coming on for his 4th cap. Remember, he got his first cap against the All Blacks in New Zealand during the World Cup. And it's a question that Turnbull will now play as the flank forward, and John Jeffrey has gone to number 8. Richard Hill of Bath, who of course is playing against his Bath colleague today, and Scotland again taking the quick one. David Scholl out to Finlay Calder. Looks a good ball for the Scots. Armstrong to Chalmers. Chalmers didn't realise that Lenine had come inside him. Turnbull has it. 10 metres outside England's 22. Scotland again with a put-in. So they've got about 8 minutes to go to half-time. Just 2 points in it. Picked up by Jeffrey, out to Armstrong. Chance here as Gavin Hastings goes. Hastings handing off. Almost got away from Underwood, but Rory Underwood managed to push him into touch. But it was a very good move, because Lenine came the other way as the decoy runner, and Gavin Hastings came up on the narrow side. Of course, the Scots have lost Derek White, who's done such great pick-up work as a number 8. This season and last, but John Jeffrey is accustomed to the job. Quickly taken by Finlay Calder. The Scots have taken a leaf out of the Neath book with those very quick tap penalties. This is Turnbull. Hill, chance here, but Andrew decided to kick it away. And we hear that the damage for Derek White is knee ligament damage. Moore's throw, Cronin, Armstrong, Chalmers. Chalmers all the way out to Hastings, but the referee's whistle had gone. Scott Hastings with a real chance there, and dying to have a go at Jeremy Guscott. They were both pals on the Lions tour. And it's Paul Ackford who's been cautioned there by the referee. Must have been a bit of rough work at the line out. Scott Hastings, you can see there, so keyed up, and he was so disappointed because he wanted to play advantage there. Hastings the placer. Chalmers then. Oh, he's done it once more. I mean, it looked so inebriated as it went over. You would have thought it would have keeled over, but he's done it. 3 penalty goals for Craig Chalmers. Scotland 9-4 ahead. They've played 36 minutes and the crowd are delighted. Gary Armstrong decided that Gavin Hastings would have been knocked down there. Decided not to pass to him. The referee's whistle has gone for half-time, and that has been a thoroughly thrilling half, at the end of which Scotland lead by 9 points to 4, but England have the satisfaction of having scored the 1 try in that half, and it certainly was a superb score, on a par with anything that England have scored this season so far. That's quite an advantage to the Scots, because that looked like quite a useful ball for England. Pick up by Jeffrey. Jeffrey to Armstrong. Armstrong nicely out to Gavin Hastings. Gavin Hastings who's the kick through. On goes Stanger. Stanger could be there. Fuck, it's a try! A magnificent try for the 21-year-old. His first try in a championship match, but his 6th try for Scotland in his 6th international. And well, the euphoria around the ground is something else. 13 points to 4, the Scots lead. It was a brilliant bit of play by Gavin Hastings, but first John Jeffrey released Gary Armstrong. Armstrong's pass was beautifully taken by Hastings, and then look at how Stanger accelerated. Rory Underwood was there, but Stanger's a big lad. He got it and he ducked it down, and it was a fine score. And so the whole of Murrayfield is on its feet virtually. England with the put in, and they've a great opportunity here. There are so many options open to them, even though they've a very narrow blind side. But the Scots squeezed. Hill, the long pass out to Carling. Carling rumbled back by the Scots. The Scottish forward here, Gary Armstrong. And what a superb bit of play that was. The Scots really deserve credit for clearing that one.
And you can see how that's lifted the Scottish forwards there, because you don't get any change out of running at Scott Hastings and Sean Linney down the middle, because they'll tackle you all day and all night. And a good play again by the back row, picking the loose ball up.
Jeff Probyn at the front there, one of the 2 Wasps prop forwards in this England side. 2 veterans, 33-year-old Probyn. Moore throws, Dooley gets it, Hill nicely out to Andrew, along to Carling. Underwood came in, but the dummy run by Carling. He's tackled by Turnbull, feeds on to Rendell. That's a Scottish 22. Loud blast for an arm going over and killing the ball. A penalty to England, almost in front of the Scottish post. It was a lovely run by Carling. You see, Rory Underwood had come in on the dummy run, and Carling cut back, and he beat 3 tackles until Derek Turnbull got him, and it said a lot for Paul Rendell that he was at his elbow. Hodgkinson then. Oh, it looks good. It's a beauty, and that's a very important goal for England. 13 points to 7, the Scots lead. They've played 15 minutes of the second half, and Simon Hodgkinson has brought them back into the match. Moore with a throw. Cronin gets a hold of Hill. That's his Bath clubmate. 2 Bath men in opposition there. Gary Armstrong burrows. England pulling the ball down there in the ruck. And it's a penalty to the Scots. And it'll be interesting to see if Gavin Hastings decides to have a pot at goal. It's a long, long way, of course, into the wind. Jeff Probyn got hurt there. A fella born in East London, went to London Nautical School. Gavin Hastings has kicked away over to the far side. It could be an awkward one for Simon Halliday. But Derek Bevan made a notice there, and it's a 22 dropout. And Rob Andrew was going to take a quick one. It looked like the perfect kick. Rob Andrew has found a lot of space. Oh, and there's another magnificent kick. What a dropout. Rob Andrews saw that big space behind Tony Stanger, and that one long dropout has given England another superb attacking position. And Jeremy Guscott is leaving the field. So unfortunate for the 24-year-old who first played for Bath as a 7-year-old. And on now comes Mark Bailey, and Mark Bailey will be gaining his 7th cap for England, a vastly experienced player. He's 29. Of course, the referee has got to give his permission for the player to come on the replacement.
I think what England will do now, they'll put Bailey onto the left wing, his normal position. Rory Underwood will go to the right, and Simon Halliday will take his normal position in the centre.
Hill goes, the switch inside to Underwood. Underwood half caught by Jeffrey. Hill, Andrew, Carling, there's a loop on here. Carling half tackle. Carling again. Feeding on to Andrew, there's a chance here. Hodgkinson out to Bailey. Bailey inside. Chased by Stanger. Stanger with the tackle. And this is magnificent play by England. They're turning every screw to try and pull this game back out of the fire. But the 21-year-old made the crucial tackle there. Andrew had gone in the loop, but it was Will Carling getting out of Leneen's tackle that did it. Andrew again, and that lovely improvised pass. And see how Bailey came inside Gavin Hastings, but Stanger had him all the way. We've about a minute to go on Scotland's 22. Hill, Rob Andrew, Carling again. That's to Hodgkinson. Underwood, caught by Tukalo. Underwood lays it down. Lovely pick up there by Winterbottom, the ever-present. Scotland may have won it. It should be a penalty to the Scots for offside. Paul Rendell saying, "You mean it was me?" The 36-year-old, one of the most popular forwards in the business. But it is a penalty to the Scots. I make it that we've almost played full time as Gavin Hastings sends it spiralling away up into the east stand. And what a performance this big fella's given with his touch kicking today. Just inside Scottish territory, everybody roaring here at Murrayfield. The Grand Slam at stake, the Triple Crown at stake, the Championship at stake. Probin goes through. England's forwards trying to turn the screw, but the Scots spoiling and harassing. England with the put into the scrimmage. A lot of people whistling, but of course there has been a bit of injury time. Remember that the unfortunate Jeremy Guscott was hurt. So that's the situation here at Murrayfield, with all this to play for, this historic occasion. Andrew to Carling, Underwood, half through. Underwood, Stanger got a hand to it, but a penalty for a deliberate knock-on. And Hill screaming for the ball, he wants to get on with it. Hill tells them what the signal is. Hill onto Rendell. Rendell, Dooley trying to take it. In goes Finlay Calder to try and win it. And Michael Gordon Skinner, number 6, battered in there. There he is, born in Newcastle. Went to the Walbottle School up in Fruckley in Northumberland. Played for Blackheath before joining Harlequins.
As in Scotland were lucky not to get away with a penalty there, because in the rolling maul they collapsed it, they dragged it down into the penalty offence now.
I make it we've played a minute of injury time. As Teague picks up to Winterbottom to Hill. Hill going. Hill, tackled by Turnbull, on there to Skinner. Skinner feeding on. They're within 10 metres of Scotland's line. And Richard Hill showing there that electrifying pace of his. He has made such a difference to this English back division with his very quick hands, but there, with his speed off the mark and his feel for the space, they're about 8 metres out from Scotland's line. England's scrimmage is a solid one. Scrimmage has gone in, they'll have to do it again. Referee looks at his watch, it'll tell him they've played over 2 minutes of injury time. 13 points to 7, Scotland lead. The Grand Slam an offer to each side, Scotland penalised for going down. Richard Hill ready to take it, but of course he's got to be sure that his players are onside. Rob Andrew with a tap onto Rendell. Rendell to Dooley, but the Scots have driven it. Now Axford has it. Probin held. Probin trying to rip it clear, but Finlay Calder trying to hold his arm down so he can't get it clear. Now Hill has it. Out to Andrew. Andrew there to Carling. Carling beautifully tackled by Jeffrey. Taken on by Bailey. Bailey on to Tegan Winterbottom. The referee's whistle goes for the end of the game. And Scotland have won a famous victory. One of the unique occasions in rugby union football. And Scotland have won by 13 points to 7. And the scenes of euphoria here, well, just look at them. It has been a remarkable triumph. England coming here as very hot favourites indeed with the bookies and everybody else, having scored 11 tries to 2 in their 3 previous championship matches and having played some magnificent rugby in the process. But the Scots have taken the game to them today. They've lasted the pace, they've scored try for try, and they've won only their third Grand Slam in the history of the game. 1925, 1984, and now 1990. Scotland, the champions of Europe, the Grand Slam winners.
Boy, what a game that was, with all the ingredients that have marked England-Scotland matches over the years. And you know, it has to be a great compliment to the power and strength of English rugby that when Scotland won the Grand Slam by beating England in 1990, it warmed the cockles of every Scot's heart, even more than anything else that has happened in rugby union history. Some wonderful matches then, and let's look forward to more in the future with the thought that whenever Scotland meet England, there will be something very special in the air. Well, if you've enjoyed those last 2 matches, they are available in their entirety in video form.